18 of the 2013 World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship from the Grant Harvey Center in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and our coverage here on World Curling TV. I'm Dean Gemmel, and I'm joined by 2011 World Women's Curling Champion and Mixed Doubles Guru Sarah Carlson.
Why, thank you, Dean. I'm a guru now.
You're a guru in this one, yes. For this evening's game, a Group C matchup between Finland and Estonia. There are 27 teams competing at this World Championship with 3 groups of 9 teams. Here's a look at Group C. We see Scotland on top at 4-0. Estonia at 2-2. We'll be taking on Finland.
Yep, Finland being 0-3.
They're on the ice looking for their first win. England is also on the ice tonight looking for their first win as well.
Here you see the lineup for Finland: Paavo Kuusmanen and Katja Kiskinen.
And for Estonia, we have Martin Lill and Christine Lill.
Both teams had a draw to the button to decide who would have hammer, and it was Estonia who was closest, so Finland will start. Mixed doubles, of course, a bit different from regular curling. You have teams of 2 players rather than 4, 1 male, 1 female. Game is played on the same sheet of ice as normal curling, and the teams only have 6 stones instead of 8. So you see Paavo Kuusmanen for Finland throwing the first of the 5 that they're going to throw, because the 1 stone for each team are pre-positioned. Team with hammer will start off with a stone just back of the button. Team without hammer will start off with a center guard. Hits are allowed only after the 4th stone in every end, so you're not even allowed to take out stones in the house, which normally makes for very aggressive curling. Lots of stones in the forefoot.
Finland here using the not as popular setup with the male player throwing 1 and 5 and the female player throwing 2, 3, and 4. So Katja Kiskinen will be throwing 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, this is not their normal lineup. Katja normally plays with Kalle Kiskinen, but he had an injury back home and couldn't make it, so Paavo is normally the coach. He's now coming out to play, and he's not got the same type of experience, so they just feel like they get a better setup play with Katja playing the burger, as Dean so creatively invented it.
And Paavo is the bun.
We saw that today with 5.
We saw that today with Hungary, of course, where they used this lineup, and with Japan we saw switching throughout the game. Japan and the United States, the only 2 teams we've seen who switch the order throughout the game. Katja Kiskinen with her first, her team's second. Looks like it could be heavy. Quite a bit heavy. So Estonia with an opportunity to lie 3 and create a really good situation right off the bat.
Yeah, and for Estonia, it's the other way around. Martin Lill playing the burger position.
You're going to really go with the burger and the bun, because we haven't had anybody suggest something better. So we're waiting for that. You can send us those comments.
Yep, very easily send those the comments. Send the comments. Just put on your Twitter. Use hashtag WMDCC2013. We'll be happy to take on any suggestions. Martin Lill with a big scrub here. Does enjoy a fair bit of bodybuilding, so if anyone should be able to get this into the rings, it's him, but it's just a bit too short.
I'm not so sure it says he enjoys a fair bit. He lists it as one of his hobbies. Well, I guess that would be a fair bit of bodybuilding. His wife Christine also enjoys it. I think they mean weight training, strength training, but nonetheless, it's interesting. Katja with her second. We'll need to get this one top 4 at least. Start to close down the scoring area.
Yeah, with 2 guard would be a very good opportunity for Finland to come down and freeze this. They could maybe even sit short if they find the inside here. She played just about the same sort of weight, finds better line, but Estonia still sitting 1. And I think the stone that Katja played is quite open, yeah.
Can hit, roll about a rock and a half, touch the center line would be pretty good with it. Or even split center, and it would only show half of the one that's behind the tee line. Martin Lill is a CEO in Estonia. Also enjoys golf and basketball. Perhaps he and Zoltkis. Already, see, I had it through the whole game. I had it correct. Now that it's not in front of me, I forgot about it. They might be a good 2-on-2 basketball team. I like their chances against us in basketball.
Well, I'd like pretty much anyone's chances over me in basketball, to be honest.
Take the field. Didn't play the hit, played the straight draw.
And comes all the way down. So maybe Katja could just freeze away the opportunity for them to take 2.
The way he looks at the result, you think he might have realized that the hit might have been the way to go. I think the hit would have been good. Hit and roll toward just touch center or even split center.
Yeah, sure would have been good for them to be a little bit higher up on the 4-foot rather than all the way down there.
Finns in all black here today.
Kind of has a Superman look.
It's intimidating, the black, head-to-toe black. New Zealand rugby side certainly knows about that.
Be really good if Katja could get all the way down here. She's been a bit heavy on her first 2. This one looking a bit hot as well.
Heavy and tried to hit it high side, chip it in between the 2 yellows under the button. Really heavy on all 3 of those. And now, well-placed stone by Martin Lill. Makes a 3. Fairly routine. And raises the possibility of a 4.
And definitely, if he could get a good one in here, it might be difficult for Finland to prevent the 4.
I think if he just touches the button, it touches the top of the button and touches the center line with it. Paavo Kuzmanen won't have much of a shot. Got to go on this a little bit. It's not third shot, but he has blocked the path to the button somewhat. Although it certainly looks like a well-placed freeze here could get Finland out of this end. I don't think they really have to move it. Just get to the inside of that yellow with the in-turn.
Yeah, and should definitely be possible. We've seen so much swing on the ice.
Someone on Twitter and my feed has suggested a picture of the webcast setup here. But I don't know if that would impress right now. Actually, it is quite impressive.
What do you think makes for an impressive setup?
I'm not really quite sure, actually.
Okay, we might send a picture later then.
We need to make an impressive shot here by Pavo to take away this end. The intern side, I think his weight is all there.
Yeah, it looks really good if they can just find the line here.
Let it finish.
And a nice shot, but...
Not quite shot rock, I don't think, though.
No.
Could have been off that a little bit more. Let it come up a bit and get in towards the button.
There is that little tap available for Estonia. Are they sitting only one or possibly two?
Difficult to tell from our angle. They could hit that thinly and make sure it's two and then get three. See what Christine Lill throws here.
I think they're just going to tap that basically to T-line.
Katja there is talking on the microphone to us, asking if they should switch the rotation. We did tell them about our burger bun setup.
And at least they seem to think it's a good idea.
They seem to be endorsing it.
We'll see what Christine Lill makes of the bun position here in the first end. She has a tap to score multiple points on Finland.
I think they should switch Finland. They should switch the next end.
Why?
If they're asking. Because this end didn't go so well for them.
Oh.
It's not going to be enough to...
No, she just needed it to curl. They were sweeping, but I think the weight was all there.
I think they're saying just one yellow. One yellow after that. So, Pavo's freeze was good enough to... Or tap was good enough to limit the damage there. What could have been 3 or even 4.
So maybe they should keep the positions.
Yeah, I guess so. If they had a force, maybe it's not so bad. There we go. There's our picture.
Here you see the umpires setting up the pre-positioned stones. Since it was Estonia to score the first point, Finland will now have hammer. They will start off with the red stone just behind the button there. And Martin Lill not really happy with what the umpires have done, so he will just correct it himself.
I'm not so sure that's endorsed by the World Curling Federation to adjust the rock yourself after the umpires placed it.
Katja doesn't seem to mind.
Katja seems nonplussed by it, and
I think he actually moved it closer to the button, so might have been in Finland's favor.
I'm not sure. It just was an unusual way to go rather than request it be fixed, but Martin seems like a stand-up guy, so I can't believe he certainly didn't do it secretively.
No, he was doing it on the TV game, so.
It was fairly obvious that he was moving it. This looks like it's going to curl too much and crash or wreck on the guard.
And that is not an acceptable mistake, really, for the first stone. It just means that Finland has so many possibilities already to create the mess.
And the Finns are sticking with the positions they had in the first end. Katja seems confused by what Pavo is suggesting.
I think they're just discussing what way to come round here.
That's when we get into that situation where you're yelling from one end to the other, and sometimes it's easier if you're partway down. Pavo looked like he had a small chuckle as he brought the rock back there.
Coming round this way would make sense. It'll block off the freeze more because the guard is wider on the other side.
That's true. Lots of room. Better leave this high. Certainly didn't bury and really seal it off, but certainly better there than in the back of the rings.
And there are some seats available in the Grant Harvey Center, so someone's just taken up a couple.
Young man who wants 3 of them. Seems to be enjoying it though, I guess. He's here with his family.
Martin Lill gonna come around the wider side here.
Wider with the intern.
It could be defensive here, and with 2 yellow guards, just gonna try and get rid of the Reds in the house.
That's true. Slash double, or
Just kind of think that the setup isn't really ideal for them. Oh, they're actually going for the tap, and look at this.
nice. Right on it to sit, lie 1, full forefoot behind cover.
Tricky shot, makes it almost perfect.
Maltilla. Yep.
She's after it.
Yep.
If you think you're hearing wind chimes during this webcast, I think it's just Katja's necklace.
Seems to have found some good line.
It does. Well, the Finns will lie 3 with hammer. The Lils of Estonia are going to continue to draw, I believe.
Yeah, well, by this point, it might be too late for them to...
Well, with that ice, they might be playing a quiet tap, I guess. They could come down and move that and get a little more behind the guard. Martin Lill with good rotation on this one. It seems like it's out there, but it should finish by the guard by a comfortable margin.
I don't think it's really finishing enough.
Going to tap that over.
Finland still sitting 2.
Sitting 2 and an opportunity to close this down. Touch the forefoot here would be pretty good. Even just half buried. Don't have to be fully buried here.
Älä anna mitään pistää. Ja loppuu vasta. Ei mitään.
Weight looks close here. If they're waiting for it to finish, it will finish.
For the finish?
They will finish for the finish. Be great if they could be third shot, but maybe not essential right now.
No, that yellow one is wide open. Now what do you do if you're Estonian? Could they come around and draw on the outturn?
Yeah, they definitely could draw on the outturn. Get right to the button and angle freeze on the one that the finished stone that is touching the back of the button just off the center line. That shot is definitely available.
ja samas on see, et selle asetuse põrkest võib ka siia tulla ja võtab 2 punkti vähem. Aga ta ei tohi nii palju tugev olla, et ta punastel paremaks võtab, eks ole. Et asetus ise selle suuna pealt.
Draw is the call, and Martin was, I think, pointing at it's also okay to kind of rub the left red one and come in off of that.
Yes, I think if they think it's hanging out a bit, they can play for that chisel off of that high red on the right-hand side. Even if they don't get right to the button, they would certainly get into a position where it would make it far more difficult for Finland to score 2. Martin Lill with his last stone of the end on the way. Estonia will have one more after this. The weight looks close.
And the line is looking good too.
Don't want to catch it now, just...
Oh, look at this, it's a beauty.
Well played stone there by Martin Lill. Seems the Katja and Pavo are looking at the angle run. I think that would be worth a shot right now.
Definitely.
It looks like where the Martin Lill stone ended up, you could almost put it through that hole if you hit it just right.
And even if you hit it to the yellow too thick and you lose the back one, it's not going to be the end of the world. They're going to be sitting 2.
Exactly. I think
leave their shooter in a nice position.
You would lose at least one red. I think that's a pretty small hole to get it through, but
well, yeah.
It'd be nifty if it went through, though. It almost looks big enough for a stone. Not sure that's what they're playing, though.
Joo, mä voin tulla. Mitä? Mä voin tulla.
Millainen voima?
Se on tämmönen takapunainen.
Focused?
You better be focused. It's a world championship, and you're on TV.
Going hard for the sweeping. I don't know if they had enough ice there. Clearing the guard, not the worst shot.
No, it's not. We've talked about that before. Playing the perfect guard isn't easy on this type of ice.
Talked about how difficult it is to guard a single rock. Yes. Heard a little bit of a crash on sheet C, and that was but everyone's okay.
And the question, if they play the guard, though, where Katja actually tapped that guard onto the red on the side, is it possible for Finland to play that down?
Probably. I don't know how exactly they line up. It looks pretty good. I think Martin's feeling is he'd like to be second shot here.
Kristiina, se võib 3 olla, sest see võib aeglasem olla see jää.
Kristiina Lill, the last stone of the end for the Estonians.
Sa mulle näitasid seda suunda, on ju? Kuhu paistab olevat?
Looks like it's about back line, maybe.
On vaja, et tõuseks.
Certainly isn't short.
On vaja, et veel tõuseks.
Starting to come down, but it's not going to be short. You're right about that. But she will put in a pretty good spot. Now, though,
Was that angled on pretty nicely for Finland?
did it get better with that shot? Almost looks like, I think the back yellow will jam dead onto the...
Yeah, but it still might be enough for two.
Yeah.
No.
It's close. Because he might hit that, the red would hit the yellow that's just almost touching the pin. Would hit it a little on the low side. Might work really well. Seems worth the worth throwing for Finland. Looking at it, does it just get it? I think so. Of course, you could just come off the yellow and take your own red with it and give up a steal of one here.
I think it should be worth a try.
Worth a try just to satisfy our curiosity about this angle, I think. See what kind of drag they get with this. Early call for sweeping from Katja.
Oh, and it actually wasn't angled the way we
imagined it. It came out
no.
and hit it dead on the nose, basically. We thought it might hit a little lower than that. See how that happened. Yep. So another single for Estonia. Should we update the other sheets, Sarah? 2-0 for Estonia over Finland after 2.
Yeah, and we also have Slovakia playing the Netherlands, 1 each after 2 ends. Sweden's playing England. Sweden's got 1 in the first. England took 2 back in the second end. And Norway is 3-0 up on Latvia. So a couple of close games going on here in this group. Christine Little started curling 2005. Of course, Estonia is fairly new to the curling world.
That they are. The Lils are certainly committed to it. And the tap, they're going to play the freeze, the automatic freeze here for Finland. We're not so sure this is always the way to go, but they could move this as well. They could move it rather than just freeze on it. Or split the guard.
To really get a good angle, they could also come down the other side, but I guess they can see some of it from here.
Katja Kiskinen, she's 29 and started curling in 2000. Truck has to move. I think you're right there, Sarah. I think the intern would have been the way to go.
You would have kind of been able to lock it on the other angle. Katja's been throwing them just with a bit too much weight. She's been kind of back 12-ish on her draws, just tapping them around and not really getting the amount of curl she would have wanted.
Yeah, tapping them back and then rolling high side, hitting on them, everything on the high side and sort of chapping off and open, bouncing off the rocks.
So Martin Little is going to freeze to the inside here. This is again very typically mixed doubles. He could also just play hack weight, remove the red and roll in behind the center line.
Got to the inside of that. This was the objective. They're hoping to hit this one and roll the shooter away.
Open up the scoring area and maybe spread the yellows around a bit.
They could move both yellows behind the tee and lie 1-2 on the right side of the house here would be a good result. Paavo Kuzminen, age 38, started curling in 1989.
He's been coached so far. As mentioned earlier, he's coming on to the team to replace Kalle Kiskanen. And
certainly achieved the objective of moving the yellows out of the scoring area, but I think Martin Lill can make a hit and roll here. Close it down once again.
Ja võtta see punane valge suund.
I think that's what he's doing. Quiet wait, trying to come off that red. Or is he straight up drawing?
He might be drawing, or he might be throwing a hack weight maybe.
Just took a little less ice. Now I think now he's going to throw something closer to normal hit weight.
I think that makes sense. They're without hammer. There's no point in leaving too many opposition stones in the house.
Without hammer, they're up 2, playing the third end. May as well take an opportunity to make 1 or 2 stones go away. Should have probably swept that just a tiny bit more. So they rolled not quite so far.
And wanting to roll back here. Hack weight.
They can roll under. Be a good result.
And if he hits this too thick, he could maybe get a double or actually just move both yellows and sit 2.
Getting tight to the guard. Just wrecked.
Unfortunate mistake for Finland.
We're having trouble making the right shot quite at the right time.
I think Katja said that it's kind of been the problem for them. They have been making shots, they've just not been consistent, and also having a team change actually during a world championship and trying to make it work was not the ideal place to try and build a new team. So she's been a little bit frustrated during the start of the week. You're just going to need to try and make it work, be a little bit more consistent.
Martin Lill could bring this one around to bite the top of the button, just inside the center line. Doesn't even have to bury all of it. Certainly make it difficult for the Finns to find a way in.
Ütle, kui kukkuma hakkab, siis hakkan harjama. Nüüd suuna pärast vaata, et saab suuna peale selle kaitse.
Will just be the guard.
Does seem as though they're playing the straight guard. Or else they decided it was short enough that it should just be the straight guard. Katja thinks they can still move that one. I'm not so sure they don't just move it onto their own red, or
Now it looks like they might need to play the out-turn draw here and try and find the button.
Joo.
Nous tosi reilusti toi sun edellinen. Se oli niinku tosi siisti heitto, jopa vähän pientä.
Vähän rauhallisempi kuin äsken.
Mitä?
Joku siis läpivoima, hakki vai läpi?
Tricky shot.
Läpi.
Yeah, I don't think this is...
Täällä se nousee tonne.
They might be able to get to the inside, I guess, with the in-turn, but would have to get very close to that guard.
Kyllä näy
Pitäisikö
juuri
ottaa ihan vähän
ollenkaan.
isompi vielä?
Ei se näy ollenkaan.
I think you're right, Sarah. I think the out-turn draw would be the shot to play
Nyt se
here.
sinne nousee. Ja ainakin avaa sit suojaa.
Okei. Okay.
Mut tuu ihan siis sellainen määristyyppinen.
Joo.
I don't know if Pavel likes the look of this in the hack, but
I wouldn't if I was him.
nor would I. He's committed to it now, though.
Ja, kova suunta. Kova suunta. Ei, ei.
Määrit.
Ei,
Teep.
irti. Irti.
Reilu teep. Reilu teep.
Pitää nousta vielä reilusti.
Sounds like it's an 8 on the 10-point scale.
And this is hanging wide.
I'm afraid all he's going to do is chip that one more buried.
So another steal for...
In the works.
Oh, sorry.
Another steal in the works for Estonia. Christine Lill just still has one shot to play. Yes, Finland has last rock in this end.
That was me confused with the whole burger and bun situation.
Yes, it can be. That's why we need those position names. I like playing this into the, even if you could bite the button, lie 2 with the out turn.
Yeah.
Really put a lot of pressure on Finland here, and I'm not sure how they would score then.
Yeah, that certainly is the only way for them to come in.
Tommonen helppo tupla.
Christine Lill would certainly rather be short than heavy on this one. Well, I guess if she's heavy she can tap that down, but she would leave the draw back for Finland, and also heavy would maybe mean not curling enough.
Doesn't look like she likes the look out of it out of her hand, but we've seen that expression on Christine before. Martin's calling for sweeping. They're by the guard.
They're by the guard, and look at this come
They
down
don't
now.
want to oversweep it now.
Ooh.
Actually overswept it and might have made it Katja Kiskanen's shot a little easier. If she comes to that, can she be shot if she comes to that one?
I
Close.
think she can, but it's just tricky to come that close to the guard.
Yeah.
Ei käytännössä.
I don't think, well, very close to being shot if she's there.
Kyllä se mun
I
mielestä.
think she will be shot if
Yeah, I
she's
think she
there.
will be.
Mut se pitää saada ihan nousee sinne kuitenkin.
Täällä on varovainen.
Actually, a scenario setup that looks a bit like what we saw last night when Spain played Canada.
Yep, Sergio Vest just said, make this draw.
Draw down to this, and if you come to ours in the back, you will be shot.
So do you think that was the words from Paavo Kusmanen? He is normally the coach, so he should know how to make Katja perform.
Silleen, että mä saan sen nousee.
A playing coach off the bench, onto the ice.
Taas tos.
Big shot.
Chance to make the game a bit closer here. Katja Kiskinen for Finland.
Jop. Suunta. Suunta. Ei.
Plenty of weight.
Irti.
Have to get tight to the guard if they have a lot of weight.
Looks like good
Got to
line.
finish. Oh,
And I don't think it's enough for a shot, but we'll keep Estonia to another one.
Ei mä oon sanonut sitä.
game of singles here, all for Estonia so far. Need a little less weight there, so it could have finished a little bit more.
So score after 3 ends is Estonia 3, Finland 0. And Dean, what's going on the other sheets?
Let's update some of the other sheets. On sheet E, we have the Netherlands versus Slovakia, and the Netherlands is out to a 2-1 lead. They're playing the 4th end. Slovakia has the hammer. On sheet C, Sweden against England. Sweden is up 3-2. England has the hammer playing the 4th end. The young English team against the veteran Swedes. And on sheet B, we have Latvia versus Norway. Norway is up 3-2 with the hammer playing the 4th end.
Thank you for that. And Martin Little making sure all stones are in the correct position again before we start the 4th end.
Well, he is a CEO, so he's used to, being in charge, I guess. And if it's not to his liking, apparently he's going to adjust it. So far, no complaints from the Finnish team about that. So perhaps he is getting it just right every time. Kristin Lill with her first. The Estonians have stuck with their combination of Christine in the 1 and 5 and Martin in the 2, 3, 4.
And there you see it again. Last time she did this, Finland almost ended up with the situation of scoring multiple. And again, Twitter hashtag, any questions, suggestions, wishes, just put
wishes.
Well, yeah, you could wish for Dean to sing a song or something. Hashtag WMDCC 2013. Are you a good singer?
I'm not a good singer.
Okay, don't wish for that then, please.
This voice is built only for speaking.
You do it so well.
It will sing on occasion though. So Katja with her first one, an opportunity here for Finland after the split of the centerline guard.
Yeah, last time this happened, we were kind of wanting Estonia to open things up when it got messy. Now Finland has corner guard and a semi-center, 2 in behind.
That's a pretty good shot, actually.
Very good shot.
Tucked behind the corner, high in the rings, and Estonia playing down to the one on the button without much delay.
This is not an easy draw. With the amount of curl, you almost think if you pass that guard, you're going to come down to the one that Katja played rather than the one on the button.
Yeah, they'll have to get very close to the yellow guard on the left side in order to get to the button. It's a good chance they could just curl by. That looks a little strong from my vantage point.
As long as they're by, it's not the end of the world.
Oh,
ooh.
Did get by. Just a little extra weight actually helped him maintain his line there, but it's wide open. And now, with a well-played shot here, Finland could really force play to the sides. Roll there. Even roll big, right? Roll open into the 8-foot even. I think if he could roll so you only showed half a rock on the outturn side would be great. Paavo Kuzmanen in the hack.
And an early call from Katja. If he's rolling big, just like you said.
A little too big. I don't even know if that's entirely awful, actually, but...
Look, time to open things up for Estonia. Gonna run down the guard.
It's not maybe the call I would have expected out of Estonia at this juncture, but they are going to try this straight back.
Is it a call you like?
I don't mind it up 2-0 or 3-0. I mean, I actually do like it. but it's just not the style I've seen them play so far.
No, they definitely have been a drawing team and the guarding team. But situation now is not really looking the way they want right now.
Close. Enough to get it out? I don't think so. It's going to spin back.
Or?
Just spun back. I think it's just on. These rocks, because they're the way they curl, they often do spin back just as they on the last rotation.
And he leaves a corner guard up there as well for Finland to come around.
If Paavo could place one similar to where Katja put her first.
Yeah, Katja's telling him, I think at least she's showing him 12, 8 foot. Certainly don't want to come too deep. They'll give Estonia a freeze.
You certainly also want to make it difficult for them to freeze on that back one. You want to be in a position where it's difficult to make the freeze on the back.
Etupesä.
Voima näyttää kans reilut.
Joo, etupesä,
It's a little strong here.
Ei mitään vielä. Lopus sit.
Starting to dig in.
Etusininen.
Nyt jo, nyt jo, nyt jo, nyt jo.
Ootko varma?
Jop, jop.
I don't know if they need to finish it that much.
Trying to take it a long way back instead.
Yeah, a long way back and get it fully buried, but certainly leaves an opportunity for Estonia to come down to those and take away what could be a big end. Estonia has 2 rocks to play.
They could
Finland
freeze
has
on the
2.
one that Finland just played rather than the back one.
That's true. Corner frozen on the one that Paavo Kuzminen just placed there. Would certainly be a good shot. And make it difficult for Finland to score more than 1. Straight come around. Certainly pretty good.
Jah, aga ta võib rohkem nähtavale jääda. Kaitsest tuli väga kaugelt mööda. Kui tuleb tugevam, siis võib selle punase peale lukku tulla. Võta see suund tagasi, mis oli.
Key shot of the end right here. Martin Lill. Can he make a good draw to prevent Finland from building a really big house?
He's tracking it like a cat here.
Äkki saame selle punase peale lukku.
Behind it like he's ready to sweep. He's in a great position for sweeping. Doesn't want to go through the hole.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
If you tried coming through that, it wouldn't be easy.
No, they watched it go right through the hole. I don't think they could have held it to save it on the other one actually, but I think they were hoping the whole time that even if they just got a little rub off of this, they'd freeze onto the other one. Just papered that one and through the hole.
Tough luck for Estonia.
And you can see that tough luck in their faces.
They gotta just remember the fact that they're 3 points up here.
3 points up, sure, but they are in danger of handing the work they did in the first 3 ends right back.
Well, if you're gonna lose to a 3, it's always nice to be up 3 when you do it.
That's true. It can be cold comfort sometimes, but that is true.
Vähän ehkä hiljainen.
Lopus vas. Näyttää reilut, Paavo.
Ei oo, etuvalkeen. Joo, hyvä. Onpas tässä voitma.
Tää on takapesässä.
Ei oo.
Where's Paavo gonna put this?
The way he's watching it and moving with it, I don't think he's light. But I think it's going to settle just on the tee line. Pretty nice shot. And Christine Lill is looking at this situation. She could corner freeze on that right there. I don't know if I'd talk about the either or here, because I think you have to be corner frozen on that one. And if you start to play the either or, you might end up with a result akin to what Martin Lill just had.
Yeah, bouncing off and rolling into the open is not a good option here. This needs to be locked on.
Not a situation that will look especially good from the far end to a shooter. Last shot of the fourth end for Estonia. Finland still has one to come.
Väga suund, kolmene. Tundub, et on tagajoon.
Martin Lill is already looking at the one at the back.
And I think she just said ay, 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 which in any language won't be a good sign.
Ay, ay, ay's never been good.
She will actually hit the one in the back, but sits for, is it
Might be second shot.
second or third?
Not really sure, but it certainly can be
Well,
moved for three. Doesn't have
it could also be a double for 4.
Yes, the double is for 4 to make that biter count. Not an easy double to stick with, though.
No, but you could play to just remove that with soft weight and try and hit the right-hand side and just hope to catch the back one as well.
Exactly. You don't have to move it. You might get lucky enough to move them both out with quiet weight. At the very least, you definitely want to move that one back far enough and save your shooter to score 3 and tie the game here in the fourth end. Katja Kiskinen wants to do that for sure, as I'm sure her teammate Paavo Kuzminen would like her to do that as well.
Hack weight.
I got that. Big shot to make the second half of the game a lot different. That looks like more than hack. But a little tight. Well, a lot of yelling, but I'm not sure exactly. Well, they're going to get 2. Just looks like she overthrew that. He asked for hack, and that looked like board plus. But 2 for Finland to make this game 3-2 after 4 ends.
Yes, definitely closer. So first half played, you see the line score right there. It's Estonia 3, Finland 2. Players will have a short break as usual, so will we, and we'll be back shortly with some highlights of the first half of the game. Here we are with highlights from the first half of the game. In the first end, here is Christina Lill attempting at tap to score 2. She will hit it a bit too much on the high side, and first end will be a score of 1 for Estonia. In the second half, Finland is attempting an angled race, but it turns out it's not really angled the way that they thought, and Estonia will steal one to take a 2-0 lead. Third end. Tricky freeze here for Finland. Needs to come all the way up and touch the button. Won't really make it all the way there, and Estonia actually steals another one to take a 3-point lead. Finally in the fourth end, and a chance to come back for Finland. She could tap this back for 3. A bit too much weight, but still a score of 2. So tight game. Finland leads, Estonia leads 3 shots to 2. And we're back here in the second half. It's Katja Keskinen to play the first freeze. We've said this so many times, Dean. The only thing you don't want to be is either wreck on the guard or be heavy with this.
Chopping off here is never a good result. Bouncing off.
And Martin is pointing top 8 foot. Why do we think that that's a good idea?
Well, we like to expand the scoring area when you have last rock. And if you go and freeze on your own here, or play it right in, you're suddenly reduced to trying to score your 2 or 3, all within a very tight range around the button. So we do like to see this one up higher. So it's a little deeper than we would like to see it.
Still in front of the tee line though, which makes it just a bit trickier for the Finns. But Pavel Kuzmanen will come down and try and tap this. Leave his shooter in a very usable position with the 2 yellows as backing would be nice for them. Pavel Kuzmanen, normally coach for Finland, now stepping in as a player when original team member Kalle Keskinen hurt himself back home.
It's going to overcurl and leave a staggered set of guards.
Estonia can come round again here, and if Martin Lill can find top 8 foot this time. Finland in some early trouble in the second half of the game.
Martin Lill watching this stone, hoping it settles in just a bit. Looks like it has some curling to do. Can they finish it a little bit? Tuck just a bit of it. Well, there's certainly a hit available if Finland wants to play that. I think hitting would make sense here. At least give them an opportunity for a better freeze perhaps later in the end. I think if you could make the double and leave your shooter there, it wouldn't be too bad. I don't think you can go over the top and accomplish a whole lot.
No, it'd be good if they can leave something useful.
Even make the double, and I think if he knows he might double the back one, miss the one that's on the button and double out the back. They can get to nose. Sounds like it might be a little bit tight. The early call for sweeping. Now he's been called off. There you go. That's the shot.
Just like you said.
Leave your shooter there. Let the Lils of Estonia deal with that.
A cheerier Finnish team.
Cheerier now that they're on the board with the 2 in the 4th end and just made a double. Lie 2 and 3. Estonia still with the one right on the button, almost touching the pin.
Are they just looking to protect that?
I believe they are, which seems like a rather conservative call. Doesn't look like a lot of ice for a guard, though. Could come around and get a corner freeze on that one that Paavo just left, or
are they trying to tap it back?
Tap it back and roll under a little bit. Doesn't look like it with that weight. I don't think they're going to move it. I think they were just playing the guard.
They just know the ice a bit better than you and me, I guess.
Or their own releases.
Well, that could also be the case. Let's hope that they know their own releases better than we do.
That's a good point.
Finland can come around the other side if they want and really make sure that Estonia has trouble scoring more than one. They don't absolutely need to steal this end.
That's a good point. They could just concede the one here and down 4-2 playing the 6th. Look for a deuce and 6 to tie it up. And then have 2 hammers to their 1. I don't know if I would do a whole lot with these staggered reds. I don't know what good comes from them here.
No, I think they are good for Finland right now.
Yeah. I think they could come down and freeze on top of that yellow that's shot rock right now. Or corner freeze on it with the outturn. Or even just bury behind. Might leave it in a spot where you could do something with it later.
Entäs sit vaan ihan noin keskisuojat auki poikittain? Sehän tulee vähän tänne päin toi punainen.
I think Paavo got to the other end and realized that perhaps doing anything with these staggered guards wasn't such a good idea, although now they are going to make that play. Let's see what results here. So he may have slid a little tight now to feed it out.
Makes the shot. Now it's just a question of...
Was it wise?
Yes.
Did make good execution, makes the double peel. But does seem to open the door to the Lils for a 2. Or more. If they can half bury one here or freeze one on there. If they half bury it, show a little bit of the one that's touching the button. It'd certainly be a good shot if it was second shot. To be second shot, they really only have to be a little better than full 8 foot. Estonia with 2 rocks to play. Finland has 1 left to play. This is Martin Lil's last rock of the end. His wife Christine will play the last stone for Estonia.
Again, following it like a cat. So what were you saying, Dean?
He did appear to be falling like a cat. I like the position he's in. He seems ready to sweep. He gets up early and is in a position to sweep.
There's some really good line here.
This could be really good. I think that's a terrific shot.
Definitely. I think he's even fully buried.
Yeah, I don't think that she can see enough to double them out. I think that double peel was really the mistake in this end. If they don't play that double peel, I think the most, and they play a draw, I believe Estonia would have been hard-pressed to get to. Now they're in a position to take 3. Now they're looking at the yellow-red double. Yellow onto red, onto the 2 yellow counters. The angle of those 2 front stones doesn't really work that well for them, though, does it?
No, and I don't think the angle in the house is working really well for them either, so they might just need to freeze this. Or
really
just
tough.
take away one of them and let go of the 2.
Can they see enough of the red to slash it onto those yellows and take away 1? It's an awfully tough freeze, because if you bounce off it at all, you're going to leave an open hit for 3. No, you can't really see enough of that red to slash it on. They may be just picking one. I think they've elected to just pick out the back one and concede 2.
Might actually be a wise call. The risk of giving up 3 is quite large with all of the other options.
You give up 3 and to go down 6-2, certainly a difficult position to come back from. They still have a chance, I think, in the game if they're down 5-2 playing the 6th end. So need to make sure she gets rid of 1. Cheering for it to curl, and it doesn't curl enough. And now Kristin Lill and Estonia has a free draw for 3. Just needs to touch the forefoot to be sure.
Just more than full 8 foot, and it's a score of 3.
Yep.
Real control of the game for Estonia if that happens. Of course, we said that in the previous game with Switzerland-Hungary, and they were in control, but they gave up 5.
Switzerland was playing the 6th end up 5 against Hungary and gave up the 5.
It's just the way mixed double goes.
It was somewhat wild finish to that game this afternoon. That end and the seemingly malfunctioning rock or sensor handle in the final end, but in the end Switzerland won, and deservedly so.
This one is looking a bit hot and it needs to sit down.
Martin Lill gave her the hog-to-hog split, and I don't think he liked it. That's going to come a little deep. So 2 for Estonia. Take a 5-2 lead into the 6th end.
So Finland can take a deep breath there. Down 3 points rather than 4. They did have the opportunity to score a lot of points in the 4th end, so it might just come back. Let's see if Martin Lill is happy with the stones.
That is something we haven't seen in other games. Let's see if he has a review. Barely glanced at them this time. Maybe that's because he has a comfortable 3-point lead. Quickly look at the other sheets. On sheet E, we have Netherlands up 5-1 on Slovakia. Slovakia has the hammer playing the 6th end. On sheet C, we have Sweden versus England. England looking for their first win. Sweden up 4-3 with the hammer playing the 6th end.
They're also sitting 4 at the moment.
And Latvia playing Norway. Latvia is up 5-4 playing the 6th. Norway has the hammer. Sweden is sitting 4.
Yep, behind the guard.
sa andsid käega tõuka.
Meanwhile, in our feature match, a first shot for Kristen Lill. She looks a little heavy here as well. Is also going to either go by or chap off.
So it's the start that Finland needs. They need to score a couple. Would love a bundle.
Nice to see this one in the top 8, behind the guard. Start to build a red house.
Tää on kyllä aika voimakas ollut tää nousu täällä. Pientä. Saattaa tulla tosi tiukka linja. Jop, jop, tiukka linja, jop. Jop, tiukka linja, jop.
Tee.
Ei.
Etusininen.
Ei.
Just
If
by
he's
the
by,
guard.
they need to let it dig in if he's by the guard.
Toiselle puolelle.
They curl out the other side a little bit. I don't think they want to take it any deeper than that.
Ihan loistava.
Comes all the way down to the tee line. Let's see if Martin Lill can make the freeze.
Tuleme sealtpoolt, jah.
Certainly has a pocket to get into there now.
Kiilaini peale.
Let's see if the Lils of Estonia move towards trying to peel some guards like we saw Switzerland do effectively in their in the 5th end of their game today, and then not so effectively in the 6th end. See what the Lils show us in terms of protecting a lead.
They seem like a more aggressive team, so thinking they might protect the lead by freezing the red stones away.
Yeah, I don't think they will protect it quite the same way that Martin Rios did and start running rocks in and peeling. So we'll see what they do here. This is certainly a position of those red rocks makes a freeze fairly appealing. It's got to curl up just a bit.
Finland can freeze this on the right-hand side just a little bit.
Ihan sama.
They'll be sitting quite nicely.
Yeah, they can get the angle that frees up that, it's in that yellow, avoiding their own red at the back.
Still trying to build that red house.
We are trying to think 2 or 3 shots ahead here, but how they can build a red house and get a 3 or more, which they desperately need. Even a 2 in this end will make give them a reasonable chance to win the game.
Varmaan ihan jees voima.
Ei alkuun.
Vasta on pakko.
Tilaa on vieläkin. Tilaa on paljon. Ei mitään.
Voima on ihan jees.
Ei mitään. Anna kuolla.
Voima on nyt ihan pikku.
Schrock has some curling to do to finish up. They don't want to jam it behind there.
Vähän nopeammin sitä lapaa jää, kun meillä on vähän aikaa. Ettei.
Martin Lill eager to freeze one in there now, right into the pocket.
Ihan vähän reipas vielä.
And the problem for Finland has really just been being heavy on a lot of draws.
Yeah, we haven't seen them leave much short, have we?
Koska se nousi liikaa.
I think that kind of goes for both teams here.
Või siis punase põrkest. Võta keset punast.
There might be a tendency to overcompensate for your lack of sweepers.
Mennään Katja.
Mitä?
Tai no mene vaan.
Kun ei meillä ihan hirveästi aikaa. Me ollaan niinku 5 minuutin tahdissa per pää, niin se ehkä minuutti per heitto.
That was applause you heard in the background for the young English skip who just made a double to limit the damage against Sweden, although Sweden still has an open hit for 3 on the adjacent sheet to our game. Here comes Martin Lill trying to freeze one into this pocket. Moves it a little bit, so there's room to squirt those yellows out there.
Takasininen.
What do you think about a hit here, Sarah?
Eikö teekin ole ihan hyvä?
Where do you want to hit them?
Takasininen.
Well, I might try to hit the yellow that Martin Lill just threw down and squeeze it through there.
Sama kuin äsken.
Definitely won't be a bad idea. Finland have some stones laying around. They just want to make sure that they can score on them.
I think the freeze is sort of suddenly making it, limiting them to 1 or maybe 2 at most with some breaks. I'd like to see them try to move this one.
If they don't make this good, though, there's always the possibility that Estonia might just start guarding sitting 2.
It's true. It's a pretty good
It's
shot.
a pretty nice shot right there.
Yeah. And Estonia is going to guard. I think their opinion is that even if giving up 1 here would be fine, and I think that's true. They could give up 1 in this end and be in a good position to win.
Anna rohkem suunda, vaata, kukkus ära.
Martin Lill goes down to retrieve his rock.
Call is to guard. That red one that is just played by Finland is in a pretty nice position for them to score a couple if they can ever make a play on it.
If he brings this guard in too tight, they might have an opportunity. Finland might have an opportunity to use it themselves, run it in. Well out there, but it should finish.
It will finish, but it will also be quite tight to the rings.
There's an opportunity here to run that in, or I think Finland is at a point in the game where they need big shots, so they may as well
start making them now.
May as well try some, right? Double peel wouldn't be the end of the world either.
No.
Double peel and make Finland try to decide what they guard then.
Be really good if she could run this back on to the right side of the red. That's almost on the center line.
Yeah, catch that. Would jam onto the yellow that's almost touching the pin. Maybe squirt through and get some action on that back yellow, and it'll probably just come off on their own red, but that would be okay. Sit right there.
Need to bring some weight here, Katja.
Certainly no lack of encouragement. A pretty good result.
Yeah, that is now one lonely yellow stone.
Almost really good, but if Paavo had something similar in his arsenal, I think the Lils here are going to try to draw a second shot right into the pile. This is a case where the best guard probably is second shot. If they can put one right there, of course, it'll be difficult for Finland to score.
If they could ever get away with a steal here, Estonia, they should be pretty happy.
And this is certainly available. Make the come around. Right on the button. Behind the guard, and I don't know how Finland will score.
Väga hea aeg ja suund, kõik on head.
Schrock has some curling to do. It doesn't look as though it lacks for pace either, but it's probably good enough. Although I think Finland is lying 1 now.
Yeah, I think she just made them shot.
Real question though is how can Finland get more than one?
Mitä?
Ei se varmaan rolliksi se keltainen.
No kyllä se kuitenkin se on sulla tämän verran punaisia, jos sä tuut kasiin, niin kyllä me saadaan se vähän liikkuu. Ja silloinhan näitten pitäisi olla parempi. Koska mä en tiedä, saat sä niinku täältä oikein mitään järkevää.
Se näkyy vähän yli puolet, ei siitäkään oikein saa.
Niin.
Ellei mä pääse sisäposkelle.
Kokeillaan vaan toi, eiks niin?
Käy.
Silmät kiinni täysin.
Well, they are playing the run back.
Kumpaa kierrettä sä tuut mieluummin?
I have to throw it fairly hard to spill that back yellow.
Se saa olla ihan vähän taas
The way the angles line up.
mutta aika lailla suoraan päin. Näyttääks hyvältä?
Last stone of the sixth end, another run back for Finland. And he does not look happy with this. Ooh,
Oh! And
and
that,
that's unlucky. Estonia actually steals two with that.
too. The grimace, as Paavo let it go, sort of gave it away that it may not be the best result for Finland.
Joo.
Paavo Kuzmanen not look happy with that out of his hand, and I'm sure he wasn't happy with it once all the rocks came to rest. Should we update the other sheets?
Yes, I think we should. We said earlier that Sweden was lying 4. Then the young English skip got rid of a bundle, and Sweden actually missed their last takeout for 3. So they got 1. They lead that game 5 shots to 3. England with hammer in the 7th end. Netherlands have got quite the grip over Slovakia. They're leading that game 6 shots to 1. And finally, Latvia has come back on Norway. They're up the game 6 shots to 4. Norway with hammer in the 7th end.
väga hea, võid järgi tulla harjama. Ei.
And this is looking like a pretty comfortable lead for Estonia now.
väga hea.
Täältä puolelle. Isompi merkki reilusti. Vielä vähän. Vielä vähän. Aika hyvä oloinen.
Tilaa on vielä.
I like to freeze this
Voimaakin on vähän. Voimaakin on.
with a bit of an angle here,
Ei.
hanging somewhat wide. And once again, just a bit too heavy.
Jaa. Jaa, samalt poolt, jah. Ei, sealt poolt, kus nemad istusid.
So Estonia, as they have been throughout this game, in the driver's seat in this end, early.
Yes, Martin has a chance to make sure that they control the front of the house. And he looks pretty good for weight.
Just rubbed, but isn't the worst result to rub and be on that side. The way the angles are set up, difficult for the Finns to do much with that yellow at this point.
Vähän ulkon mennä. Pientä kuitenkin. Näyttää reilu.
Ei oo. Ei oo.
Jop, suunta. Ei.
No vähän on tää takas sinne.
Ei, jop, nyt jop.
Teep.
Really breaking and curling now, and they're just by. will hit the other one instead. Roll out to the open, not a disaster.
Pitää varmaan pitää puhtaana, kun se haukkuu ihan hulluna. Se on ihan hyvästä kaikesta.
Estonians are gonna pull out their main strategy here and start guarding. They do have shot stone.
Their main strategy. They have thrown a lot of guards this game.
It's been their way of kind of being defensive.
It has, and it's worked very effectively for them. Enough that I think we'll ponder that rule change some more. The limited number of guards per game.
That's Dean's new suggestions to the rules of mixed doubles. Did you want to limit the amount of guards in each end or in the game?
Maybe the game entirety, so we could have a running tab. Of course, we thought that it would be difficult because an umpire would actually have to determine what was a guard and what wasn't.
And is it also the difference if you meant to play a guard or?
Yeah, or if it just ended up as a guard. I think if it ends up as a guard, so if you call it and it's not a guard, it doesn't count, and if you it does count. Results matter, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you for making that clear.
In my guard limited rule, limited guards rule. We'll explore that in a future webcast some more. I'll flesh it out a bit more tonight. Maybe we'll try it when we take to the ice here after this draw. We'll play that way and see how it goes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Almost makes a double.
Almost made a gem there. Still a lot of reds floating around all of a sudden, though. And
Yes,
you're right.
Definitely.
And you're right. The Lils are going to go back to guarding here, but
Well, they have started, so they might as well keep doing it.
Kuka laittaa äänet täysin?
äkki natuke sisse tagasi.
Jos koittaa hakea vähän sit semmoista.
A little wobble in the hack there. But it looks like a good release from Martin Lill.
Ja ma ei taha harjata, et muidu tuleb veel lukku.
he's not stalking this one like a cat, but he's with it. He's always ready to sweep. He gets up quickly into position to sweep the rock. I think that is an advantage. That stagger he left is actually pretty good for him.
Definitely.
And his wife, Christine.
Looks like it could even make for a red double.
Yeah, it certainly makes that yellow, the lonely yellow now, but the yellow is 2 shots from being accessible. As the look on the faces of the Finnish team reflects.
Jos toi keltainen vähän nappaisi tähän punaiseen tänne, avaisi sitä pikkasen. Vai mitä sä oot mieltä?
I wonder if they played the high yellow onto the
Siinä on tulla joku semmonen hakki. Näin.
yellow that's just on the ampersand of Cox and Palmer and tried to move their red.
I think this isn't a bad idea. Not too much weight, just spread them around in the house. Keep a lot of red lying around, maybe open it up to be able to access the yellow from both sides if they're lucky.
Yeah, if they can spill that red out open and open it up with the in-turn and leave the slash with the out-turn available.
Pientä, pientä.
3.
Ei, 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 ei. Irti. Lähellä jo. Jo. Jo.
Well, a little better. That slash with the out-turn is available.
Seems like Martin Little heard you. He's looking at taking it away.
Certainly could do that. That would be a good play, I think. Hit and roll under. Best guard in this scenario would be to just get rid of that one.
mikään ei ole vaan niinku, mikään ihan ilmanen.
Ei tässä vaiheessa pidäkään olla ilman.
Eikö hyvä väli voisi olla?
Ei taha siia sisse asettua.
Meina.
Okei.
Kristen Will.
They're just going to guard this instead of taking it away.
They are going to guard instead of the takeout. Perhaps concerned that they might make that slash for them, I guess. But
Just playing to their strengths here might not be a bad idea. If you know that you're very good at making guards, then why not make them?
they've thrown a lot and made a lot of them.
Jätä. Jätä. Veel Arja, jah. Ei, ei.
No siinä on periaatteessa aika
Catch eyeing up that red, yellow combination. Definitely not an easy one.
kyllä paremmaksi sieltä toinen, mutta 3 lähdetään. Millä? No mutta, joo.
Might be their best option. Although that slash is maybe probably not there from the hack.
Pitäisikö tulla reippaalle, jos sit sammää siihen takapunaiseen, niin sit se
Joo.
jaksaa liikuttaa.
So a red, angle red, onto the red that's just biting the 8-foot, onto the yellow that's almost touching the pin.
Nyt jo, mutta... No anna olla vaan siinä, missä oli.
Angles don't work really well for them on this, but we'll see what happens. Shooting 63% for the tournament. She needs 100% on this one.
Ei, lähellä, jap. Ei.
Oh, almost gets it
got
the other way.
Another way.
Vähän oli D-vaihteessa tuossa ylitalta.
So yet another point for Estonia.
And despite the fact that they're down 6,
Are they going to keep playing?
I don't think they're shaking hands. There they are. They're the handshakes.
I think that's the first handshakes we've seen in the webcast so far.
I believe it is.
Celebration kiss from the Lils, and there you see the scoreboard. 8 shots to 2 in favor of Estonia. They will win the game. Our next game will be tomorrow at 2:30. We will be bringing you the game between Norway and Sweden. But for now, stand by for highlights and, of course, interview with Estonia.
Gear ready. We gotta grab some brush.
Oh.
in the fifth end, this is a draw for 3 for Estonia. Christina Lill will just be a little bit heavy. They'll go all the way down to the back 12 foot and limit their score to 2, give them a 5-2 shots lead. And in the sixth end, important run back for Finland, will have a very unfortunate hit right there and actually give up a steal of 2, giving Estonia a lead 7 shots to 2. Finally, seventh end, Katja Kiskinen trying to play a red-yellow combination here. Very tricky. She won't quite make it. Another steal for Estonia, and you see handshakes there. They will win the game. So that's it for us for today, but stand by for interview with Estonia.
Congratulations on a win. You had a nice win this evening, a game you had control of most of the way. You were up 3-0 playing the fourth and then gave up a deuce. What did you talk about at the break to regain the momentum that you had?
Just play well the next ends. Yeah, this is nothing special.
Nothing special really this time, really. Yeah.
Because you're married, you don't have simple communication between the two of you. Is that right?
Just some eye signs and that's it.
This is your fourth time competing in this event. What have you gained or benefited from by playing in the World Mixed Doubles Championship in previous years?
Just experience.
And what sort of benefits do you think this format has for curlers in a country like Estonia, the mixed doubles format over traditional curling?
I think we have a very tough competition, Estonian Championship. Everyone would like to come here to this mixed double world championship because for our country this is the one possibility to participate in the world championship. Maybe in future men's or women's team can do the same, but we have to work hardly for that.
All right, appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the way, and good luck throughout the championship.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.